millipedes roamed the planet. But how did they get so big? These millipedes lived in a time called the Carboniferous period. Terrestrial land was a giant swamp. Air was humid, and there weren't any distinct seasons similar to a modern tropical climate. And these conditions led to giant vascular plants like trees that were reaching heights of 150 feet. And these forests removed huge amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, leading to a surplus of oxygen. This allowed terrestrial arthropods to become massive, because they have unique respiratory structures that deliver oxygen throughout the body more efficiently. So during this time, we see animals like 3-foot-long scorpion and dragonflies with a wingspan of 3 feet. Their size was also due to the lack of competition in these terrestrial ecosystems, because vertebrates had only just started colonizing land. And they looked like this, and this. The end of the Carboniferous period is signaled by the formation of Pangea.
So, okay, like you see right here, look. CO2 levels, carbon dioxide. Read everything that I provided for you guys here. So you must understand that 8 sounds will awaken. This doesn't happen. This did not happen 30 million years ago. That's a lie. 7 generation comes and goes. Our galaxy collision happens every 84,000 years. Return of the Titans. But I was wrong on there. It can come. The Titans, the giants can come when it's high CO2. This is the reason the ancient people tell us to maintain the balance. Earth balance is at 500 million. Put your balance with nature. If not, we produce too much carbon. For example, the high or the volcanoes are on because the red sun came in, awakens the 8 suns. Who are those 8 suns? For example, fake world governments because it's not teaching you the truth. Fake world religions, fake education system. It's all there hidden in plain sight to all to see. You have to just grow in consciousness to see the truth. So when you read any religious text, it's telling you that the God that everybody is worshiping is a fictional idol. The God is a God code, G7O15D4. So those 7 people that God saved, Noah, his 8th family, is actually God himself, the 8 sons. So when these 8 sons will awaken is when gods appear. It's just talking about the sun energy and earth. So now, as you know, we have high CO2 because all the volcanic activity, everything is active. So now you know when you saw that 40-ton bomb that the government threw in the ocean, what was it for? To destroy those creatures. Were they titans? Were they sirens? What were they? I don't know. So you have to just learn how to use your brain. Always remember, fake world government. The moon landing is fake. Our history is fake. 9/11 was fake. What's going on right now is fake. Learn how to use your brain, humanity. The only thing we have to do to save the earth is everybody be under birth control to maintain the balance. If not, these creatures are going to come back out. Giant spiders, giants, whatever you want to call it, because of the high carbon dioxide. Knowledge is power. Use it.
Eating itself. I have actually seen a picture of this before, but I've never had it happen in my collection. This is actually a California king snake, but it's eating itself. Its tail is in its mouth, and it's probably all the way down to here. It's literally ingesting itself. I don't really know what to do. I don't want to hurt it, but obviously it'll die if it tries to eat itself. I'm not exactly sure what to do here, guys.
That's what we do in the Ice Age. We eat each other. That's why they pick the serpent.
Okay, so I was able to get it out, and it seems to be okay. I mean, it's definitely really weird, and of course it has some digestive juices on it, so I'm going to wash it off really quick because I don't want it to be digesting itself, you know, with those digestive enzymes that will be on it. This is one of the weirdest things that I've ever seen in the almost 30 years I've been doing it. Again, I've seen pictures, but I've never seen an animal try it before. Ouroboros, which is the Greek word for tail devourer. It's known out of the cyclical nature of the universe, creation out of destruction. It's also sometimes known as taking a new beginning. One last checkup on Ouroboros. I have a feeling that it's definitely going to have some issues. I mean, it's just kind of moving around a little weird. You see how its head's just kind of straight up in the air, and its ribs seem to be kind of still stretched out a little bit. But it's got great tongue response, and it seems to be working out well beyond that. So I tell you what, I think it's going to survive. I just think it's going to be a little bit messed up. So it'll just be kind of my little project for a while. But it's a beautiful snake, and I love it. So, hey, listen, it's not going anywhere, and I'll keep you guys updated on its progress.
You see why they picked the snakes? You said. So now you understand the truth. Ouroboros. Through death comes resurrection. Through destruction comes a new beginning. The serpent biting his tail, the 2,000 years of darkness. the Earth Ice Age. The sun goes through this dust cloud and there's no sunlight, no vegetation. So in 8,000 years will be the last 1,000 years of sun, 1,000 years of sunlight, the age of Sagittarius. So somewhere in the middle, I would say in the year, I forgot, but somewhere in the middle, after 500 years or six, the sun will begin to darken. So it'd be 2,000 years without sunlight, Earth Ice Age. You can't point to the stars. So they're telling you everything. So it's everywhere to all to see. Remember, fake world governments, fake world religions, fake education system. It's all fake. Okay, everything is hidden to all to see. You must understand how nature works to see through your government lies. Learn how to use this, humanity. That's my warning to you.
Species has only been around for a little over 200,000 years. So what came before us? Let's take a walk through the museum's Hall of Human Origins. This is a representation of the genus Australopithecus. They have a few interesting traits. This genus was ape-like, had long arms relative to their lower limbs, was bipedal, and had really thick enamel on their teeth. This genus walked the Earth 4.2 million to 2 million years. Want to meet one of the most famous Australopithecus fossils around? This is Lucy. She was found in Ethiopia in 1974, and she took the world by storm because when scientists looked at her anatomy, it became clear that she was more like a human than a chimpanzee or ape. Lucy is 3.2 million years old and is small, even for her own species. She's about 3.5 feet tall, which is the average size of 4-year-old Homo sapiens. That's us.
So let's explain a little bit more of these titans, all right? So as you've seen, I've done a lot of videos about it. I would never imagine they can return because of the high carbon activity in Earth. It's their breath of life. For example, our breath of life is oxygen, all right? Your brain needs oxygen to think, to process what's going on in the world, all right? As you know, we have a fake word, government. Government, when you study the word, means control the mind, all right? Control la mente. You must understand that your government gave you a fake world religions. Okay, all those religion Bibles have an illusion. In order to you have to understand it, you have to understand how nature works to see through the illusions. All right, God, that religious people believe in, is a fictional character. God, G7015D4 is a constellation code. The real word of God is the sun activity in Earth. All right, again. Our education system does not teach us intelligence. It's just to prepare you for the workforce. All right. So all the doctors that you people see, they're not doctors. They're just people who went to school for 10 years to be under more mind control. You must understand that. Anybody who won on the world prize from Yale or Harvard, they're just puppets of the system. They can't see their strings. All right. Any government officials can't see their strengths, all right? So, you know, we always been at war for centuries. The whole reason is to maintain the balance, maintain the carbon levels low, so these creatures don't come back out and destroy the way of life, all right? You must understand that. So that's the threat that, you know, when you listen to these world leaders, the alien threat is the titans. That's the alien threat that comes from underneath our feet. It doesn't come from space. It comes from underneath our feet. It's the Earth's new environment. All right? That's why in all the ancient temples you have to see their scales. It has to be balanced. Watch my other videos, learn and study all the images that I provided for you guys. Understand that the religious people don't want to see the truth. Even if they see it in the Bible that says that God is the S-U-N, they make some shit up. They don't want their fictional world to be destroyed. Remember, we are the monsters. Okay, we eat each other at the end of the cycles. Study, understand how to use this. That's my warning to you. Okay, so let's explain this video of this lady that her uncle met his military friend. He haven't seen her for 15 years, and they started talking about the Titans, the Kaiju, the Nephlims, right? So you understand this Titan was somewhere in Peru, she says, and to me in the underground base. And she said it escaped. It didn't escape. the people who were studying them, they let them escape to see if he can survive in our new environment. And he can, because in a new environment, we are at 50% higher. Look at the charts that I provided. You will see the videos. You will see the carbon emission, how high it is. It's what they need to survive. All right. You must also understand that when you read any religious text, because this deity is religious, all those Bibles are sun stories. Any Bible worldwide from any cultures is just telling you the sun activity in Earth and what happens. All right. You must understand that God is a constellation code G7. The 7 constellation was suns, O 15 Perseverance Sun solar system, D for the 4 seasons. Again, Jesus is the yellow sun, also named Yeshua, also named Noah, also named Goliath. The yellow sun has many names, many stories through all the cultures. The Buddha, Muhammad. Okay. You must also understand that we have 3 different cycles. The first cycle is the red sun cycle, comes in every millennium cycle. AWAKEN is the 8 suns, new earth, new DNA. The reason for the Titans, their return if the carbon emissions goes higher. You understand why the government is pushing their delusional. The government always lies. All right. Again, you must understand that the second cycle we have is the ice age. We have 10,000 years of sunlight, 2,000 years of darkness. In that 2,000 years of darkness, future people will live underground. It's the Earth's ice age. There will be no vegetation. We eat each other. We are also the monsters, right? Especially if you don't understand how anything I'm saying, you are a monster plus you are a stupid monster. And the third one is the galaxy collision, all right? Happens every 84,000 years. We got 22,000 years to go for the Milky Way to collide, let's say, with the Andromeda galaxy. Again, here's evidence that Jesus is the yellow sun. Okay, if you don't believe me, just ask the computer, your cell phone, Bible verses that says that God or Jesus is the sun. S-U-N, the light that shines the world, okay, the sunlight. Use your brain, understand fake work governments, fake religions, fake education system. Learn how to use your brain, humanity, all right? The education system does not teach you intelligence. Government control.
So anyway, Steve was sharing how this military guy he knows said that there's a military base in Peru where they have resurrected Nephilim living there. And he was saying how a few years ago one got out, and that's all they said. And it blew me away because a few years ago, my uncle is in the military, or was in the military for a long time, and he ran into one of the guys he was in the military with, and he hadn't seen him like 15 years, so he invited him over for a couple beers, and I was there, and the guy was supposed to be going, he was stationed to go to Peru, but he was injured, so he stayed back, but a lot of his friends in the military went. And he didn't use the word Nephilim, and I was eavesdropping, God forgive me, but they said something and it piqued my interest. And he told my uncle that in a dumb base in Peru, that some kind of being was being kept there, and it was 25 to 35 feet tall, and it got out, and there was a village nearby they were afraid it was going to go to. So these helicopters were flying, looking for it, and when they found it, they threw like this net to catch it, and apparently this Nephilim pulled the net and pulled the helicopter down, and like 20 or 25 military men and women were killed. So I knew that when the story that Steve was referring to was the same story that guy had told my uncle. So I called my uncle, and I even sent him the clip, and he doesn't believe it. He told that guy, he's like, yeah, man, we got right, dude. And the guy's like, dude, I'm serious. He's like, one of my best friends saw these things. He's like, they are everywhere. So, you know, and I also told you guys how they have those forbidden cities with some of the descendants of the Nephilim down there. So they are here. They have resurrected them, and not all of them, but a lot of them. And so it just, you know, today when I was at my mom's house, my mom and my grandma have a hard time believing anything supernatural. And so it just worries me because they believe in God, but like literally nothing supernatural. And so how do we get these people ready that for things coming upon the earth that will literally shatter their entire belief system. How do we prepare people? Because that's why God's word says men's hearts will fail them for things coming upon the earth. And if we do not have a strong foundation of Jesus and are not prepared for these things, we're going to either be lost in a deception and lies, or we might, like God said, our hearts may fail us for fear. So how do we explain to people that don't even won't even consider the supernatural that things are coming upon the earth that their worst nightmares couldn't even, come close?
Azerbaijan's state oil company Soker said it was almost certain that the eruption was caused by volcanic eruptions and volcanic eruptions in the Caspian Sea. Ibrahim Ahmadov, a spokesman for the organization, said a volcanic eruption had occurred on an uninhabited island in the Caspian Sea. An investigation is underway to confirm this. Fire was seen burning in the area till this morning. No casualties were reported in Sunday's eruption in the Caspian Sea. At first it was thought that there might have been an explosion in a gas or oil mine. But oil and gas mines are safe. Experts have speculated that a mud volcano may have erupted. The Azerbaijani administration later said there was no explosion at the mine. According to the Azerbaijani Meteorological Department, there are several mud volcanoes or small volcanoes on the surface. There is an eruption first during the eruption, followed by mud with lava. There are also such volcanoes on the sea surface. There are many of them in the Caspian Sea region. The eruption has started from such a volcano. There was also an explosion. Earlier, a fire was reported in the middle of the sea in the Gulf of Mexico. That fire was extinguished after more than 5 hours of trying. The fire broke out near the Yucatan Peninsula in the Gulf of Mexico on Friday. The country's national oil company, Pemex, said the fire was caused by a gas leak in a pipeline under the sea.
So this is playing Pacific Rim in the year 2025, the Titans. We're almost there. As you know, solar engineering, you people call it chemtrails, it reduces the high CO2 levels. But let me say this, you know how religious people use imagination when they read their Bibles? I hope I'm using my imagination right here. Right, I hope I'm wrong. But it looks like our Earth is already in good conditions for the return of the Titans. You must understand, we just came out of the Ice Age 2,000 years ago. Earth is getting more hotter. You see that tectonic plates are moving faster because of the resonant solar system. More new gamma radiation and what Earth is going through purification. As you know, when you watch these movies and all the other movies, this is the primordial soup where we all came from. Our ancestors were Titans, all right? We keep getting smaller through the Ice Age cycle. So right here, because of the dead fish or those dead bacteria, so that DNA down there, it's the primordial soup. It's the reason for mutation, Titans, all right? So the high CO2 levels is what they need to survive. When you watch the TV series Godzilla, Singular Point, they tell you that. So if they leave that area with the high CO2 levels, they get to the oxygen and they will die. So that's why solar engineering, you see right here, you will see the CO2 levels, how high they are. And they need that to survive like plants, all right? Like we need oxygen to survive. Again, in this movie, this is like Power Rangers, Ultraman, Godzilla, King Kong, Pacific Rim. There's a lot of movies telling you about this, all right? So these are the giants. They always return. Depends on the conditions. Okay, right here's the 40 ton. In this movie, they used 28 tons. You see, they're corrosing the rifts, the tectonic plates. This is the primordial soup. This is how these creatures are. They come to Earth. See? So now you know you live in the world of illusions, all right? We have a fake world government, fake world religions, fake education system. All to control your minds. The politician's job is to keep you as dumb. This is the real world of God, G715D4. It's a constellation code. When you watch this cartoon, they tell you. When we get the high volcanic activity, the lightning storms, those storms, the water floods, it's the good condition for them to return. And that's the time we're living in. So hopefully that solar engineering works. Those chemtrails reduces the CO2, preventing them. And you see, the military, Russia, they're losing a lot of submarines. Those people, just learn how to use your brain, study, and watch my other videos into that.
Everyone in the city is secured in underground shelters. You are clear to engage.
When I was a kid, whenever I'd feel small or lonely, I'd look up at the stars. Wondered if there was life up there. Turns out I was looking in the wrong direction. When alien life entered our world, it was from deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. A fissure between two tectonic plates. A portal between dimensions. The breach. I was 15 when the first kaiju made land in San Francisco.
And they'd been here before in sort of a trial run. It was the dinosaurs. But the atmosphere wasn't conducive, right? So they waited it out. And they waited it out. And now, with ozone depletion and carbon monoxide polluted waters, well, we practically terraformed it for them. Because now they're coming back. It's perfect. See, the first wave, that was just the hounds. Categories 1 through 4, it was nothing. Their sole purpose was to aim for the populated areas and take out the vermin, us. The second wave, that is the exterminators. And they will finish the job. And then, the new tenants will take possession.
In the beginning, the kaiju attacks were spaced by 24 weeks. Then 12, then 6, then every 2 weeks. The last one in Sydney was a week. In 4 days, we could be seeing a kaiju every 8 hours until they are coming every 4 minutes. Marshal, we should witness a double event within 7 days.
Mr. Gottlieb, I'm to drop a 2,400-pound thermonuclear bomb. I need more than a prediction.
Well, politics and poetry, promises, these are lies. Numbers are as close as we get to the handwriting of God.
Many eons ago, back when the world was new, the planet Earth was down on its luck, and everywhere gigantic brutes called titans ran amok.
It was a nasty place. There was a mess wherever you stepped,
where chaos reigned and earthquakes and volcanoes never slept.
And
then along came Zeus. He hurled his thunderbolt. Locked those suckers in a vault. They're trapped. And on his own stops chaos in its tracks. And that's the gospel job.
Please find your way to the nearest continent for immediate evacuation. Begin evacuation to surface immediately. Pressure anomalies detected.
There are things that will happen that will make you feel powerless. That make you feel insignificant. But that's it. They're just feelings.
Begin evacuation to surface immediately.
And sometimes you have to stop feeling. Start doing.
Foreign objects approaching pods. Foreign objects approaching pods. Distance to contact 60 meters. Accessing core terminal.
You know what we're sitting on? A lot of energy, with nowhere to go.
Core meltdown in progress. 1 minute until meltdown.
We got 60 seconds. You lose your sense of time in the dark.
3, 2, 1.
So let's light this shit up.
Have you seen the TV series Godzilla, Singular Point, Titans from Zeus?
Azerbaijan State Oil Company Soker said it was almost certain that the eruption was caused by volcanic eruptions and volcanic eruptions in the Caspian Sea.
And Pacific Rim,
Ibrahim
the movies.
Ahmedov, a spokesman for the organization, said a volcanic eruption had occurred on an uninhabited island in the Caspian Sea. An investigation is underway to confirm this.
You must understand
Fire
the
was
military
seen
using a
burning
lot
in
of
the
bombs
area
as
till
well.
this morning. No casualties were reported in Sunday's eruption in the Caspian Sea.
My friend
At
Edgar
first it
Bahama
was
sent me
thought
this
that
video
there
about
might
a
have
week
been an
ago, so I was
explosion in a
researching.
gas or oil mine.
It made me think
But
about
oil
this.
and gas mines are safe. Experts have speculated that a mud volcano may have erupted. The Azerbaijani administration later said there was no explosion at the mine. According to the Azerbaijani Meteorological Department, there are several mud volcanoes or small volcanoes on the surface.
You must understand
There
that
is an eruption first during the eruption, followed by mud with lava.
the 19 red sun
There are
solar system
also
brings
such
the red
volcanoes
dust.
on the sea surface.
That's the 8 sounds
There are
awakened for
many of them
200
in the
years.
Caspian Sea region.
So I'm not sure if these
The
titans could
eruption
come
has
back.
started from such a volcano.
I do know for
There
a
was
fact they come
also
back
an
every
explosion.
galaxy collision.
Earlier, a fire was reported in the middle of the sea in the Gulf of Mexico. That fire was extinguished after more than 5 hours of trying. The fire broke out near the Yucatan Peninsula.
Remember,
in
all
the
this
Gulf
stuff
of
is
Mexico on Friday.
cover up
The
for something
country's
else.
national oil company, Pemex, said the fire was caused by a gas leak in a pipeline under the sea.
Use your brain, see through the illusions, people.
Siento afuera.